aspirants and friends, welcome back to High Point again. I hope you are studying for your UGC NET and JRF and you are doing great in your personal life as well. So we have already seen about Thomas Kyd in the previous video, and in this video let me look at the Spanish tragedy, the great work by the great drama by Thomas Kyd, the Spanish tragedy. And about Spanish tragedy, I'll be giving an introduction, and also we will be looking at act-wise summary, in detailed summary of the play. So Spanish tragedy is a very crucial play of the Elizabethan age. We will look at all the major and some minor points related to the particular play. So before beginning, let me tell you about my website www.highpoint.in, and you can visit my website in order to have a systematic, comprehensible and simplified audio lectures and PDF notes, simplified PDF notes, and also downloadable, which are downloadable, and practice and previous question papers which you can attempt live in the website and know your progress instantly. Isn't that great? And you can visit my website if you wanted to know what you have to study for achieving UGC NET English or JRF English. Okay, you have to have a systematic study, otherwise you cannot just finish learning all this vast syllabus that is there for that you have to cover for NTA, UGC NET and JRF. So you will get everything chronologically arranged in the website, whether it is the audio lectures or the PDFs, everything you will get in a chronological manner. And also once you enroll into the course, you will get many other benefits such as personal care, you will get webinars, you will get motivation classes, you will get helps from our team, personal help from our team. And if you want to join a WhatsApp group free, you can join it, because we are sharing daily quizzes related to English language and literature there. And we are sharing study cards, notes, and some details related to some works of English language and literature there in the WhatsApp group, and also updates and news related to NTA UGC NET. So you can actually, clicking the link given in the description box, you can yourself join the WhatsApp group. I have given that in the description box. You can go and check it, and you can join if you want. And also in the given number there in the screen, you can also message me or call me or WhatsApp me if you wanted to know anything related to English language and literature. If you want to know how to study, what to study, and from where to study, what is the strategy of learning, what I followed when I gained when I had my UGC NET all these years consecutively. So you can ask me anything related to UGC NET English language and literature. From my limits, I will be very glad to answer all your doubts, and I can provide you some solutions for your issues. Okay, let's begin without wasting much time. Let's begin the Spanish tragedy. Spanish tragedy, who has written it? Thomas Kyd. Thomas Kyd belongs to the age of Elizabeth, and also he is a university wit. Don't forget that he is a pre-Shakespearean dramatist. And Spanish tragedy, that is the sole important work by Thomas Kyd, and we all love him for this revenge tragedy. And he composed this particular work from 1582. That means in between 1582 and 1592, between these 10 years, he composed the Spanish tragedy, which is one of the first major revenge tragedy, which is modeled on Seneca. All those that details we will see here in the introduction part. So it's a revenge tragedy by Thomas Kyd, and it is a well constructed, horrific plot involving murders, frenzy, and sudden deaths. Gripping scenes with the events following on events, foreign aristocratic settings, powerful dialogues, powerful use of dramatic irony, and the cultivated literary tone. So these are the sum total in a sentence, in a very well constructed sentence. You can say the quality, the features of Thomas Kyd's uh, the the Spanish tragedy in this way. That is, it contains a well constructed, well devised plot that involves murders. So if it is revenge, there has to be some motive for the revenge, right? So what is the motive? It is murder. So there are several murders happening, and frenzy and sudden deaths. We can see sudden deaths, and gripping scenes with events following on events and foreign aristocratic setting, powerful dialogues, powerful use of dramatic irony, and the cultivated literary tone. So, if you just break down this sentence, you'll get almost all the features and dramatic qualities of Thomas Kyd's The Spanish Tragedy. You can learn this particular line, and you can take down if you are doing MA English Language and Literature. Then this sentence will be very helpful for you. So, if you are taking notes, then you can easily memorize all these things, and also that will be helpful in your further career as well. And revenge motive itself is a personified and presented as a character. So here, what is the major quality? Even though it is modeled upon Seneca, he kept his own personal quality, his own individual dramatic quality in this work by creating a character known as revenge motive. Revenge motive, so the murder of Horatio, Hieronymus' son, is the major motive. So Hieronymus is avenging the murderers of his son. So that is the major motive. So revenge motive itself is personified and presented as a character. So revenge motive mainly forms the chorus for this play, and it is personified and presented as a character. And Kyd introduced the elements of ghosts and the play within the play to strengthen the revenge motive. So ghost, presence of ghost, play within a play. So inside this play, entire play, there will be a play enacted by the characters of the play. So that is known as play within the play. So ghost, play within the play, and death, murder, bloodshed, and death of every other major character towards the end of the play. So all these are the major features of revenge play. So ghost, he introduced the ghost and play within the play to strengthen the revenge motive, and revenge motive is personified and it is presented as a character which forms mainly the chorus of the play. Another title for the play is Geronimo is Mad Again. So I have seen some questions related to this particular another title of the play. So the Spanish tragedy got another title known as Geronimo is Mad Again. Okay, please do remember that. And now let's see the list of the characters in the play. I'll be reading quite in a quite swift manner. I'll be reading in a fast manner. You can pause the video if you want to take down all these characters. So the first one is Ghost of Don Andrea. Ghost of Don Andrea, a murdered Spanish novelist. So he is not appearing in the play, but it is informed that he got murdered in a war, and he's a Spanish nobleman. And revenge is a spirit from the underworld, and ghost and revenge together forms the chorus. So ghost, Don and Ria, the ghost, and revenge motive. Revenge motive is a spirit from the underworld. These two together forms the chorus. King of Spain is the another character, and Duke of Castile. Duke of Castile, he is the brother to the Spanish king. King of Spain is there, and Duke of Castile is the brother of the Spanish king, and Lorenzo, the duke's son. Lorenzo, the duke's son. Then Belle Imperia, the duke's daughter and sister to Lorenzo. So Belle Imperia is an important character, and she is duke's daughter and Lorenzo's sister. And Viceroy of Portugal, Balthazar. Balthazar is Viceroy's son, and Don Pedro. Don Pedro, Viceroy's brother. Okay. So Viceroy of Portugal is there. His son's name is Balthazar, and Don Pedro is Viceroy's brother. Jeronimo is Marshal of Spain. So Jeronimo is a nobleman, and he is a Marshal of Spain. And Isabella is Jeronimo's wife. And Horatio is Jeronimo's son and Andrea's friend. Andrea means Don Andrea. Don Andrea is already got killed in the war, and Horatio is his friend. And Alexandro is Portuguese nobleman, and Billupo is another Portuguese nobleman. Pedrigiano is Belle Imperia's servant, and Cerberin is Balthazar's assistant. So these are the major, major list of characters that we could see in the play. Now let's see act-wise summary of the play. In the Act 1, what all things are happening. So the play opens with the appearance of the ghost of Don Andrea, accompanied by a revenge motive who has come from underworld, and they are appearing together on the stage, and they form the chorus of the play. So in between the action, they are appearing and as a chorus, and they are commenting upon the actions happening in the play and all, just like the choruses doing in any other play. Okay, so but here the chorus formed by the ghost of Don Andrea and revenge motive from the underworld. So when the play opens, these two appears and they form the chorus of the play, and they have come on the orders of fair Proserpine, wife of Pluto, the king of underworld, in order to observe and comment on the events to follow. So these two give some information related to whatever happened, already happened in the play. I mean, before the beginning of the play, some events happened, the battle, death of Don Andrea, all those things they are telling. And when they started to talk, they tell that they have come to the stage with the order of fair Proserpine. Proserpine, who is Proserpine? Proserpine is the wife of Pluto. Pluto is the king of the underworld. So, wife of Pluto, Proserpines, by her order, these two, the ghost of Don Andrea and revenge motive, they have come to the stage, and they why they have come in order to observe and comment on the events to follow. And the ghost gives an introductory speech. So the ghost of Don Andrea, it started to give an introductory speech about Andrea's past. Okay, it is not past, it is past. So Andrea's past, about his ancestry and his love for Bellimberia. So while he was participating in the war, he was in love with Bellimberia. Okay, Bellimberia, she was the Duke's, Spanish Duke's daughter, and sister to Lorenzo. So he was Don Andrea. He was in love with Bellempiria. His duteous service to the state. So the ghost, tell much things related to his past life. I mean, before his death, what was his life? Okay. So he was very dutiful and he was in service to the state, and his desire to demonstrate his valor during the war and his participation in the battle between Spain and Portugal. So the war happened between Spain and Portugal, and his death at the hands of Balthazar. The Balthazar is the son of the Viceroy of Portugal, and he got died and he was killed by Balthazar during that battle. And as a result, his unjust and unbearable separation from his beloved at the prime of life happened. So, because of that death in the battlefield by the hands of Balthazar, you know what happened? Unjust and unbearable or soon early separation happened between him and his lover Bellimperia. So he summarizes his life before death, and Ghost is giving this introductory speech about his life before death. So he now sees that Spanish returned home after getting victory over Portugal. So even though Spanish army they were victorious, what happened? Don Andrea he died. He was killed during the battle. But even then, Spanish returned victorious to their home over Portugal. And then the Spanish general briefs the King of Spain about the battle and mentions about the valiant fight of Don Andrea and his death at the hands of Balthazar, son of Viceroy of Portugal. So what happens? So after the introductory section of the Ghost, the main plot of the play begins. So in which we can see that Spanish army and Spanish noble persons and the king himself, they have returned to home after getting victory over Portugal, and the general gives a summary of the major events happened throughout the battle, and he says about the valor and valiant, brave, courageous fight of Don Andrea and his death at the hands of Balthazar, who is the son of Viceroy of Portugal. And Balthazar have been brought to Spain as a captive. So Balthazar, he is alive and he is captured by this the Spanish army, and Balthazar have been brought to Spain as a captive, and Balthazar was captured by Horatio. So for Horatio particularly, who is the friend of Don Andrea. So Balthazar was captured by Horatio, the son of Marshal Hieronymo, and Lorenzo, son of Duke of Castile, who is brother to the Spanish king. Okay, so Horatio and Lorenzo, both of them, they captured Balthasar and they have brought him to Spain as a captive. So Horatio is the son of Marshal Hieronimo, and Lorenzo is the son of Duke of Castile, and Duke of Castile he is the brother to Spanish king. And by seeing this, the king granted the ransom to Horatio. So Balthasar will be, Balthasar's father or the Portugal viceroy. He has to pay ransom or indemnity to release his son Balthasar. So that ransom was granted to Horatio, who valiantly fought in the war and captured Balthasar. And the king gave the privilege of guarding Balthasar to Lorenzo. So he recognized the courageousness of these two people, Horatio. So he granted ransom money to Horatio and the privilege of guarding Balthasar to Lorenzo. Okay. So Balthasar also accepted the hospitality given by the king. So even though he was a captive, he was treated as a as a guest there. So Balthasar also accepted the hospitality given by the king. In Portugal, the viceroy's gloom as he felt that his son Balthasar was killed in the war. So the viceroy of Portugal or the father of Balthasar, he doesn't know what happened to his son. So he was gloom and he was sad and he was in grief that by thinking that uh, by believing that his son got died in the or son got killed during the war, and he indulges in philosophical brooding and thoughts. So he is indulging in philosophical brooding and thoughts because he felt that his son Balthasar was killed in the war. So what happens next? And exploiting the morning mind of the viceroy, another scheming courtier, Viluppo, made him believe that another courtier named Alexandro is responsible for his son's death. So, Viceroy of Portugal, he is mourning, he is in grief because he felt that his son Balthasar is died or Balthasar was killed during the war because he doesn't know anything related. He has no news about his son. But there are some courtiers there, and one of the scheming courtiers, Viluppo, he used this situation, this particular mental status of Viceroy, and he made Viceroy to believe that another courtier named Alexandro is the responsible person for the death of the Viceroy's son Balthasar. So he exploited the mourning mind of Viceroy in order to make him believe that another courtier, Alexandro, is responsible for his son's death. Okay. And the viceroy calls for the imprisonment of Alexander. So his mind is very sad and it is, mourning uh, because he felt that his son is already killed by the Spanish people in the war. So he immediately imprisoned the courtier Alexander, believing Philippo's words, and he waits execution till the confirmation of Balthasar's death. So he didn't even heard about Balthasar's death. So even though he imprisoned Alexandro, he awaits for execution. So he waited to execute him till the confirmation of Balthasar's death. Then follows a soliloquy of Bellimperia. So another the scene shift to Bellimperia's chamber, and Bellimperia was in love with Don Andrea. Don Andrea was already got killed uh, in the battle. So this follows after this scene with the viceroy. What follows the soliloquy of Bellimperia when she learns about the death of Don Andrea from Horatio. So Don Andrea and Horatio, they were friends, and so from Horatio, Bellimperia learned the sad death of Don Andrea. And she vows to avenge Balthasar for killing Andrea and plans to use Horatio to fulfill her vow. So what happens during that soliloquy? She says that she vows that she'll avenge the death of Don Andrea and she will use Horatio to fulfill her motive, fulfill her vow. And she also hints that Balthasar's love for her. So Balthasar, by saying Bellimperia, the beautiful young Bellimperia, Balthasar, he already fell in love with her. He shows his interest in her. So during that soliloquy, as she was making vows of revenge upon Balthasar, She also hints at Balthazar's interest and love for her. And meanwhile, an ambassador from Portuguese arrives to buy peace, and he saw the living Balthazar, who is treated as a guest there. So everybody in Portuguese, they believed that Balthazar got killed during the war. So meanwhile, ambassador from Portuguese arrived there in order to buy peace, in order to make a treaty of peace and all. He saw that Balthazar is alive. He is treated as a guest there in the court of King of Spain. So that he saw the ambassador, so and he felt happy about it. Now what happens? And on order from the king, Marshal Hieronymo, an adept at performing theatricals, presents a mask to entertain the Portuguese ambassador and Balthazar. So when Portuguese ambassador arrived there, they were also both the Portuguese ambassador and Balthazar. They were treated as eminent guests there in the court, and the king, Spanish king, ordered Marshal Hieronymo. Marshal Hieronymo, he was adept at performing theatricals. Everybody knows his talent for theatrical performance. So king ordered Marshal Hieronymo to perform and mask is a kind of drama which is much expensive, and it will be mainly performed in courts and before kings and all. So a mask was performed in order to entertain the Portuguese ambassador and Balthazar. So by seeing this entertainment and all, the ghost of Andrea, who is pained to witness all these spectacles of league, love, and banqueting, expresses impatience to the spirit of revenge. So, spirit of revenge has come from the underworld in order to take revenge, right? In order to have revenge for the death of ghost of Andrea, Don Andrea. So by seeing all these celebrations, all this love and all this love for the enemy, like Portuguese ambassador and Balthazar and all, Don Andrea's ghost got impatient, and it was it became sad because of witnessing all the celebrations. It expressed this impatience to the spirit of revenge. And the revenge promises to the ghost that the friendship will change into cruel. So this was the promise made by the revenge when ghost of Andrea expressed its impatience to the spirit of revenge. What the revenge promises? So the revenge promises to the ghost that the friendship, what you are seeing now as friendship, will change into cruel hatred, and the day will change into night, and hope will change into despair, peace will change into war, and joy will change into pain, and bliss will change into misery. And the revenge spirit only asked him to wait for the right time. So you have to wait for the right time. The spirit of Don Andrea, you have to wait until the time comes, until the right time comes. And when that right time comes, the friendship will change into cruel hatred, day will change into night, hope will change into despair, peace will change into war, joy into pain, and bliss into misery. So, with that promise of revenge, the spirit of revenge, the Act 1 ends there. After that, Act 2 begins. So, Act 2 begins with Balthazar enjoying hospitality. So, even though Balthazar is enjoying hospitality, he is in deep despair due to his inability to win Bill Imperia's love in spite of all his earnest attempts to woo her. So, already we have a hint of Balthazar's love interest in Belle Imperia when we listen to the soliloquy of Belle Imperia in Act 1. So, Balthazar, even though he is getting much friendly hospitality in Spain, he is in deep despair. He is actually in a sad mood, in gloom, due to his inability to win Belle Imperia's heart and love, in spite of all his honest and earnest attempts to woo her. Okay, and her brother Lorenzo rightly guessed that she must be in love with someone else. So when Lorenzo learned about Balthazar's mental status, and Lorenzo guessed that she must be having a love affair with someone else. That's why she is so indifferent to your or Balthazar's love advancements. So he consoles him. So Lorenzo consoles him that he will find out the reason for her irresponsible behavior towards him. Okay. So he will, be patient. Lorenzo says to Balthasar that he will find out the rightful reason why she is so irresponsible, why she is showing indifference to your advancements, love, interest. And Lorenzo threatens Pedrigano, his sister's loyal friend, loyal servant. So Lorenzo threatens Pedrigano. Who is Pedrigano? Pedrigano is Bellimperia's loyal servant. And at the dagger's point, he elicits the information that Horatio is her secret lover. So in the soliloquy by Bellimperia, she already informed the audience that she is going to use Horatio in order to avenge upon the murderers of Don Andrea. So from the loyal servant of Bellimperia, Pedrigano. Pedrigano is the loyal servant of Bellimperia, and from Pedrigano at the dagger's point, when Lorenzo threatened Pedrigano at the dagger's point, he elicits and he gives the information that Horatio is the lover of Bellimperia. And Balthasar determined to revenge upon Horatio. So Balthasar also learned about this love relationship between Horatio and Bellimperia, and Balthasar determined to take a revenge upon Horatio, as he was rival in arms, also his rival in love. So Horatio is the one. Horatio and Lorenzo, both of them, they together captured Balthasar, and he felt that during in army, while having the battle, Horatio was his rival, and in the case of love also he is the rival. So by thinking that, Balthasar determined to take the revenge upon Horatio. And thus Lorenzo and Balthasar, they devised a plot to murder Horatio when the lovers meet in secret, as informed by her servant Pedrigano. So Pedrigano also gave the information that Horatio and Bellimperia, they will meet in the garden in the night secretly. So Lorenzo and Balthasar, they devised a plot in order to murder Horatio while they meet there. Okay. Meanwhile, the king of Spain and his brother discusses marriage between Balthasar and Bellimperia. So, you know, King of Spain and King of Spain and his brother means Lorenzo's father, Lorenzo and Bellimperia's father, King of Spain and his brother, they discusses about an alignment between Balthasar and Bellimperia, marriage alignment between Balthasar and Bellimperia, that will be fruitful for the peace between Portuguese and Spain as well. So they were discussing about the marriage between Balthasar and Bellimperia in order to cement their strained relation with Portugal. So about between Spain and Portugal, the relationship between them were never peaceful. So in order to cement the strained relationship with between these two countries, they thought of marriage between Balthasar and Bellimperia, and they already must have known that Balthasar is in love with Bellimperia, and they found them a suitable couple. The Portuguese ambassador leaves for Portugal to inform this happy news to the viceroy. So what happens? Portuguese ambassador is there, so he leaves for Portugal in order to deliver this happy news to the viceroy. And as planned, Bellimperia and Horatio, they met in the garden of Hieronimo, and the avaricious Pedrigano brings the traitors to the scene. So what happens? So Horatio and Bellimperia, as planned before, they met in the garden of Hieronimo, and the avaricious, the crude and cruel Pedrigano, so he was a loyal servant to her so far. So he brought the traitors, that means Lorenzo and Balthasar, to the scene. So what happens next? The disguised Lorenzo, Balthasar, Cerberin, his assistant, comes servant to Lorenzo, and they have come to the scene, and it surprised, their presence surprised the lovers. They got bewildered. They never expected these three people there, because they were meeting in secret in the garden of Hieronimo, and Lorenzo, Balthasar, Cerberin, they appeared in disguise in order to murder Horatio. See? So the traitors hang Horatio and stab him. So Horatio was hanged by the traitors, and afterwards he was stabbed by the traitors. And Belimperia cries, "Murder, murder." So by seeing this, she got surprised, and she couldn't hold. She don't know what to do, and she cries out. Belimperia cries out, "Murder, murder!" But they stop her mouth, abducts her, and imprison her, hoping she will agree to marry Balthasar. So she witnessed the murder of Horatio, her lover, right? So when she cries out, "Murder, murder," these traitors, they stopped her mouth and they abduct her and imprisoned her, hoping that she will agree to marry Balthasar. The cries of Belimperia awake Hieronymo. So they were meeting, Horatio and Belimperia, they were secretly meeting in Hieronymo's garden. So the cries of Belimperia wake up Hieronymo, and he was terribly alarmed by hearing "Murder, murder," the high cry, the loud cry by Belimperia. He enters the garden and finds Horatio's hanged body, such a horrible sight to see for a father, right? So he entered into the garden and he saw that his son Horatio is hanged there, and he cries. By seeing it, he was shocked, and he terribly, he was terribly shocked by seeing it, and he break out in cries, and this waked up his wife Isabella, and both started to cry in agony. And old Hieronymo carries away the blood-stained kerchief and vows to take revenge on the murderers, and he decides not to bury the body till he fulfills the vow. So Hieronymo, while he was crying, what he does, he carries away the blood-stained kerchief. So there he got a blood-stained kerchief, and he vows to take revenge on the murderers of his son, and he decided not to bury the son's dead body, until he fulfills the vow of revenge on the murderers. Okay. So the ghost of Andrea wails over the unexpected turn of the events, the death of his friend Horatio. So Don Andrea and Horatio, they were friends. So the ghost of Don Andrea, he wails, he mourns, and he cries, and he shows sadness over the unexpected turn of events, the death of his friend Horatio. That was unexpected for him. And revenge further assures him action. You wait for the right time. This is just a beginning. Now everything is going to turn upside down. You will see the complete wiping out of all these traitors soon. He revenge assures him action. Now, with that, Act 2 ends. In Act 3 begins in Portuguese. So, where the Viceroy has lost his peace of mind. Okay, because he didn't get an information about the life alive Balthasar or the died Balthasar. So, he didn't get anything related to his son. So, he was about to execute Alexandro, and the ambassador arrives at that point and informs about the happy news that his son is alive, and he is treated as a guest in the court of Spain, and he also delivers the happy news of marriage between Balthasar and Belimperia. So the viceroy orders the instant execution of the real traitor Vilippo. So Vilippo is the person, that courtier Vilippo is the person uh, who made the viceroy believe that his son Balthasar was killed in the battlefield, and Alexandro is the one who is responsible for that. So he viceroy ordered the instant execution of the real traitor Filippo, while the loyal Alexandro is vindicated. And Hieronymo, overwhelmed by the loss of his son, and at times he loses his balance of mind. So Hieronymo gone mad. Are you remembering? Do you remember the another title for this particular play, Spanish tragedy? Hieronymo gone mad again, right? Hieronymo gone mad again. So Hieronymo, at times, because of the death of his son unexpected death and the horrible sight that he saw, he at times loses his balance of mind. One day, Geronimo receives a letter written in blood by Belimperia, telling him that Lorenzo and Balthazar are the murderers of his son and asks to revenge them. So Belimperia is well aware that who killed her lover Horatio and the son of the marshal Geronimo. So one day Geronimo receives a letter written in blood by Belimperia telling him that Lorenzo and Balthazar, these are the true traitors that you are looking for. You have to avenge them for the murder of your son. And he thought about the truth value of it and asked Pedrigiana about the whereabouts of her. So, since Belimperia tells about two eminent persons, Lorenzo and Balthazar, and he couldn't see any reason for these two people murder his son Horatio. So he thought about the truth value of this particular letter by Belimperia. So he goes and asked Pedrigano, Belimperia's loyal servant, about the whereabouts of Belimperia, but Lorenzo intercepts. As he was asking about Belimperia, Lorenzo, her brother, intercepts and tells him that she is disgraced. He can pass the request to Hieronymus to her. So she is not well and she is disgraced. If you want anything to tell to Belimperia, if you want to inform anything to Belimperia, you can tell me. You can tell Lorenzo tell this to Hieronymus that you can tell me if you want to pass any information to Hieronymus, I'll do that. So he intercepts. Now, Lorenzo also saw Cerberin as a potential threat to them as he witnessed the horrible deed by them, and also same with Petrigano. So once the horrible deed that they committed, that they murdered Horatio with the help of Petrigano and Cerberin, these two also know about their device, their horrible plan and all. So Lorenzo also saw Cerberin and Petrigano as a potential threat to them because they both of them witnessed the horrible deed done by them. So he cunningly plots to kill Cerberin with the help of Pedrigano. So Lorenzo is a very cunning person and he plots. He made another plot to kill Cerberin with the help of Pedrigano. First, First, he will kill Cerberin with the help of Pedrigano, then to implicate Pedrigano by another devious scheme. So, what was the plot? He will make he will make Pedrigano to kill Cerberin first, and he will make another devious scheme in order to trap Pedrigano. Okay. Pedrigano, lured by wealth, carried out the plan of Lorenzo unsuspected. So, Pedrigano was offered a huge amount of money. So, in order to get that wealth, Pedrigano carried out the plan of Lorenzo without any suspicion. As Pedrigano waited at St. Louis Park to kill Cerberin. So, Cerberin was asked to go to St. Louis Park, and Pedrigano was also asked to kill Cerberin there. So Pedrigano waits at St. Louis Park to kill Cerberin, and Lorenzo plans to get arrested Pedrigano there for the crime and that he has done. So what happens? Pedrigano waits at St. Louis Park to kill Cerberin. So once he commits this act of killing Cerberin, Lorenzo planned uh, Pedrigano to get arrested for the crime that he did. So everything happened as planned by Lorenzo. He get rid of these two potential threats, Cerberin and Pedrigano. And Pedrigano expects a pardon from the king. So he got arrested because of the murder that he has done. So still Pedrigano has no clue that Lorenzo is the person who made all these plans in order to trap him. So Pedrigano expects a pardon from the king, and as he requested to Lorenzo, so when Hieronymo came to asking about Belimperia, he replied indifferently, and the pardon never comes, and he was hanged. Okay, so what happens? Pedrigano expected that since he did all these things for Lorenzo, there will be a pardon soon coming from the king, because he requested to Lorenzo to make a request of pardon to the king for his crimes. And while he was expecting this pardon, Hieronymus came to Pedrigano to ask about Belimperia. So he was expecting a pardon, so he cannot go against Lorenzo. So he replied indifferently. But what Lorenzo did, Lorenzo hastened, speed up the the execution of Pedrigiano, and he was hanged for the crime. He pardon never comes, and he was hanged. Yet somehow a letter written by Pedrigiano to Lorenzo falls into the hands of a hangman, who in turn gives it to Geronimo. So what happens in between? So the before the hanging of Pedrigiano, he has written a letter to Lorenzo, telling all the things that he has done for Lorenzo and all. So this particular letter was fall into the hands of one of the hangmen, and that hangman, he gave that to Geronimo, that letter to Geronimo. And so Geronimo confirms the murders of his son. So with from the information of both the letters, a letter from Bellimpiria and a letter written by Pedrigiano, he confirms that Lorenzo and Balthazar, these two are the murderers of his son. He felt of revealing everything to the king, but he saw circumstances as unfavorable. So he thought of revealing that, Lorenzo and Balthazar, these two are the murderers of his son Horatio. So he felt of revealing everything to the king. So he felt that king will be justiceful to him, and he saw that. But when we arrived there, he saw that they were discussing about the marriage of Bellimpiri and Balthasar. So this situation, this circumstances is not favorable to reveal anything to the king. So if he revealed everything to the king, what will happen? The king may turn unjusticeful to to Geronimo and his son's death. Okay, and the ambassador arrives and tells the happy news of the acceptance of the marriage proposal. So the ambassador of Portugal, he arrives from the viceroy, and he reveals the happy news that the viceroy also accepted the marriage proposal between is going to happen between Balthazar and Bellimperia. And he also said that he has also brought the ransom for Horatio. So the in order to release Balthazar, Balthazar is a captive, and he has to in order to release Balthazar, some ransom must be given. And as king promised, the ransom will be go to Horatio. So the ambassador also has brought the ransom for Balthazar, which will be in a way go to Horatio. Hearing the name Horatio, so the Balthazar said that, see, he is also uh, he is there with the ransom for Horatio. And by hearing this name Horatio, his son's name Horatio, Hieronimo cries loudly and digs the ground with his dagger. So Hieronimo, at times after the death of his son, at times he'll lose the balance of his mind, and he cries loudly. By hearing Horatio, he cries loudly and he digs the ground with his dagger. So this behavior disturbs the king. So king is not much aware about all these things happen. So the behavior disturbed the king, and Lorenzo made the king believe that. So Lorenzo is a very cunning person, and Lorenzo made the king believe that Geronimo wants the ransom by himself. That's why when he heard about the ransom for Horatio, that's why he digged the ground with his dagger. That shows his action. So his actions, Hieronymus' actions actually happened because of the agony caused because of his son's death. But Lorenzo interpreted his Hieronymus' action to the king that Hieronymo wants the ransom by himself. That's why he is behaving like this. And the king believed in Lorenzo's word, and Hieronymus, grief-stricken, Hieronymus' grief was even grew, and Hieronymo, grief-stricken, leaves the place. So he immediately leaves the place because he could not stand it. And the Duke Castellet tries to make everything amicable between Lorenzo and Hieronymus. So they know that something happened, something not desirable happened between Lorenzo and Hieronymo. So the Duke of Castellet, brother to the king, he tries to make everything amicable, everything smooth between Lorenzo and Hieronymo. And By seeing this, the ghost becomes unhappy about the reconciliation between Lorenzo and Geronimo. So it was like Lorenzo and Geronimo, with the much efforts by Duke of Castle, they agreed upon the amicable relationship. They everything they sought out and they reconciled. So the ghost of Don Andrea, he became disturbed by seeing this reconciliation happened between Lorenzo and Geronimo. But Geronimo actually, he was not at all happy with this reconciliation. He just said, for the sake of saying that he reconciled between Lorenzo and Geronimo, actually he is going to take revenge upon Lorenzo and Balthasar. That we'll see in the next coming act. So that there ends Act 3 with this reconciliation between Lorenzo and Geronimo. Act 3 ends. In Act 4, Belimpiria meets Geronimo and rebukes him for being irresponsible and delaying the revenge upon his son's death. So in the beginning of Act 4, what happens? Belimpiria and Geronimo, these two meet, and Belimpiria, she rebukes and she scolds in a way that why Hieronymia is behaving so irresponsible, why he is delaying the revenge, even though he knew that Lorenzo and Balthasar, these are the two culprits and murderers of his son. And Balthasar requests a theatrical performance to entertain his father when he visits Spain. So, for the marriage ceremony, the Viceroy of Portugal, Balthasar's father, he will make a visit, and Balthasar requests a theatrical performance to entertain his father when he visits them. He made a request to Hieronimo to perform a theatrical performance. And he readily agrees. He means Hieronimo readily agrees and he requests Balthasar, Lorenzo, and Belimpiria to participate in tragedy. So he planned to perform a tragedy for entertaining the father of Balthasar. So when Balthasar requested the theatrical performance, he readily agrees, and he also made a request. Since everything reconciled between Lorenzo and Hieronimo, there is no case of objection. So he requested Balthasar, Lorenzo, and Belimpiria to participate in the tragedy, and they also agreed to his request. So they also objected initially that since it is a mood of celebration, why we need a tragedy and all. But Hieronimo convinces them all, and also he requested Balthasar, Lorenzo, and Belimpiria to participate in the tragedy, and they also agreed to his request, and everything was going on smoothly. And then he tells the story of the play. So Hieronimo now tells the story of the play to the characters. Meanwhile, Isabella, his wife, hangs herself. So as Isabella, Hieronimo's wife and Horatius' mother, she could not tolerate all these things. She could not tolerate the agony. His wife hangs, Isabella hangs herself, and she could not no more tolerate the delay in revenge of her son's murder. In the evening, the audience gathered to see the play, and he insisted to close the door and pass the key to him. So this was done by Geronimo. That so in the evening they were about to perform the play, and audience gathered. Once the audience gathered, he insisted to close the door and pass the key to him. And no one suspected anything. He convinced everything, and they sat to see the play. So the audience, they were ready to see the play, and Geronimo replaced the wooden daggers with the real ones. So in the play, murders are not real, so they will use wooden daggers instead the real one, iron steel daggers. So but Hieronimo, he replaced the wooden daggers with the real ones. So they will not suspect this murder that is going to happen inside that play. So inside that play, since it is a tragedy, murders are going to happen. So this it won't be suspected so soon, right? So during the enthusiastic acting by Lorenzo and Balthasar, Hieronyme kills both of them as part of the play with the real swords. So what he does, so without anyone's, without suspected by anyone, during the enthusiastic acting by Lorenzo and Balthasar. So Balthasar and Lorenzo, they were actively participating in the play as characters. So during the action, Hieronyme kills both of them with the real swords as part of the play. Okay. And Billipiria, she also stabs herself because she also had a real sword. and Geronimo reveals everything to the audience and produces his son's dead body. So as he killed Lorenzo and Balthasar, on the stage itself, Geronimo reveals everything to the audience, and he made a vow that he won't bury his son's dead body until he fulfills the revenge upon the murderers. So he produced his son's dead body and he tried to hang himself but stopped by the courtiers, and everyone asked about the details. So after revealing everything, after producing his son's dead body, he tried to hang himself. But he stopped by the courtiers because they don't know what was happening. So everyone asked about the details, and as everybody was asking about much details, he cuts his tongue by biting it, and he was asked to write it down. So since he could not speak, he was asked to write it down, and he asked a knife to sharpen his quill but kills himself with it. So he didn't reveal anything much. So when as he was about to write, he asked a knife to sharpen his quill, but he killed himself with that particular knife. And the play ends with the ghost summarizing the whole unhappy events. So in the end of the play, the ghost appears again, and it summarizes the whole unhappy events once again. So this is the detailed summary of the Spanish tragedy. So if you have any doubts, queries, suggestions, and if you want me to make any contents related to English language and literature, you can obviously comment all these things in the comment section. And you can go and visit my website known as www.highpoint.in in order to know what you have to learn systematically for achieving UGC NET and JRF English. And also you can WhatsApp and call in the number given in the screen in order to have any kind of helps related to UGC NET English. If you want to know what to study, how to study, from where to study, what is the strategy of study, how you have, what are the some tricks that you can, memorize things more. So in order to know, I'll be very glad to lend my helps of that sort as far as English language and literature is concerned. And you can also mail me in this mail address, and you can click the link given in the description box to join a WhatsApp group to have daily quizzes related to English language and literature, and also news and updates, notes, study cards related to the same. So that's all. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and also press the like button and share this with your needy friends and family members. That's all. Bye bye. Thank you.